Okay, so it's our 25th year.
25.
25. That's a long time, right?
It's a quarter of a
Does it feel
century.
as long as it is to you? In some ways, maybe not.
I don't think it feels. I don't know how we got to 25 years so fast. It's how it feels.
We're too young for this.
Yes,
Our kids are grown.
we're too young for that.
Definitely too young for that. 25 years. So we haven't done too great about recording on a regular basis as we hoped we would and talking about all the topics that are in our heads. But maybe in this 25th year, we'll do better.
It's the hope.
Seems like we have more and more to talk about with every year, and we got to get it all out.
Yep.
So let's go back to 25 years ago.
Well, let's go back.
What were you thinking?
Well, we weren't even engaged 25 years ago.
Well, I know we're going on 25 years. So, okay, well, let's talk about that then. What were you thinking? Why did, I mean, at this point, 25 years ago, we were not quite engaged at all. So,
No.
did you know that I was the one?
Yep.
How?
That's a great question. Well, we were compatible. At least we thought we were. That's funny. We are compatible.
But we knew of
Very different.
We had to have known of some.
Yeah, like
I
we're
don't think
compatible.
we
We're
weren't-
compatible on the big things. Like we were raised very similarly, and like
Both loved Jesus.
yep, and church was a priority.
Both were raised in church.
Family was priority. Work ethic was priority. Like there were some things that were, but that's not why. I mean, that's not why I knew. That's why it like just made
It just felt right.
Well,
I don't think you know how to think about it
I don't
very
know
objectively at that age.
Well, all I know is that
Even if you try.
I call it even now I call it sandpaper in the soul. Like when you know something is off, like a discerning feeling that something is off. And I'd had that feeling many times, and I did not have that with you. I felt certain, and I don't know that I had ever felt that.
That's good.
I was just hoping you felt that way because we didn't talk about it.
Well, obviously I did, because by this time, then, I was preparing.
But I
I
didn't
was
know that.
making preparations.
Because one thing we didn't do was talk about getting married.
I know. Which is even crazier to think that I was already thinking and preparing it by then.
Yeah.
Because that was only 8 months in of dating.
You must have liked me.
Our kids like to throw that up that we got married so fast. Because now they're getting to that age. And we're like,
Don't do it.
that doesn't mean it was the best idea. And you've been telling people lately that when we got married, we grew up together.
We did grow up together.
Because people comment about how y'all must have got married really young. Well, we did.
Definitely grew up together. And I grew up with my kids. That's how, because we had them very young.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big old learning curve.
It is weird.
I think at any age there's a learning curve, but I don't know. There's some advantage to getting married, having kids young, and then there's some disadvantage, especially when you don't have your ducks in a row, which we did not.
Correct.
We thought we did, kind of.
Well, yeah, I usually refer to it as overconfidence. By we, I mean probably me more than you, I don't know. Thought we were more prepared than we were, maybe. And you really don't know what you don't know. That's the big thing, and that's true of every stage that you go through. You don't know what you don't know until you're in it. And while I thought I was doing all these right things, there's so much I just didn't know and couldn't anticipate. And we've done okay, apparently. But it doesn't mean that
it was a bumpy journey.
Which is true for
held
anybody.
on tight.
Which is true for anybody. Everybody's going to have challenges in it on any journey. and it's how you deal with those challenges to overcome.
Well, it's your vows. You don't understand what you're saying when you're saying them.
Right. Kind of have some ideas, but you don't really know.
I think
For better or worse can mean lots and lots and lots of different things. And only time will tell you what those things are and what it really means
well, I
for
think,
you.
well, better or worse, but also rich and poor,
Oh,
sickness
yeah,
and
of course.
health.
Yeah.
All of that. You have no idea what that looks like. So I think it's remembering what you said. It's not just commitment or a promise, like, oh, it's a covenant. And you have to, on that bumpy journey, you have to remember what you said and why you said it.
So what is, oh, here's a good one. The other day, I guess it was maybe right before Christmas, we were in a Dollar Tree store.
Yeah.
And this young guy was at the register, and I mean, he just had this personality where he was just talking to everybody that came through his line and everything. He was talking to us, and he said, "Y'all married?"
Very.
And one of us said, "Yeah, 25 years almost." And he said, "Huh, what's the secret?" What did he say? What's the secret for making it work for that long, or something like that? And you immediately said,
Jesus.
Jesus. Only Jesus.
And he was like,
Huh. He was taken back a little bit by that. He didn't know.
He didn't know how, he didn't have any more questions.
Yeah. Which was interesting. But maybe that planted a seed.
Well, that's the hope.
I love it that people are curious, because they don't see that story as often as they should.
Right.
Especially not from two people who are too young to be married that long.
Well, and I've heard a lot. Right. Exactly. And I've heard a lot of young men, which is so interesting. He is the second, and now we've heard 3 young men say that girls, it's hard to find.
As in recently we've heard that. Yeah.
They're young men, and they want to find wives who think and believe and have goals like they do. And it now I don't know where they're meeting their girls. I don't know. My suggestion is go to church. But even in church, you have to use discernment. That girls are complicated. That's not exactly what they say. I won't repeat what they said because it's not very nice. And I don't want to stereotype all girls who are young in that way. We have 2 young daughters who hopefully are not that way, the way they characterized it. But just that girls are complicated. I don't know. They really said crazy is what they actually said. And I think they all 3 mean different things because they've had some experiences, but
wow, that's a whole nother rabbit hole to talk about, though, because
you can see it in his face, like, how do you make this work, or how, I mean, I tend to think we're not always happy, but we've worked really hard to actually like each other still, because it does take work to still like each other this far in.
You think maybe that's what he was noticing, was like, look at them, they like to be around each other, they're together.
Well, you were with me, you were helping me. It's actually I was doing a party, Christmas party for work, and you were there helping me and
pack up all the stuff.
We weren't miserable. We didn't have misery written on us. So
okay, so do you think that perspective of, well, there's 2 sides of that. There's two the opposite of that perspective. Oh, all the girls are crazy, or fill in any other word that describes the sentiment guys can tend to have in this younger generation towards girls. call it drama, call it crazy, call it a whole lot of other things that
Unhealthy.
well, okay, that's probably a good way of putting it. But there's these descriptor words that there's this sentiment, this perspective that maybe is generalized by a crazy or unhealthy. That could go both ways. But there's an opposite of it, which is, well, for the girls, they could be saying, oh, the guys are fill in the blank. And we've heard that too from our girls.
From people.
People. What do you think that opposite is there, besides unhealthy, obviously?
I think that's a big one. I think that social media has ruined actual relationships. It's hard for this generation to actually behave in the way in real life towards going towards what they want. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I remember when we first started dating, like, I think we maybe have told this story before on video, but I like had to notice you in public and be like, hey, I think I might like that girl. And I had to call somebody to get your phone number out of the church, your parents' phone number out of the church. I had to call and ask, I had to call your parents' house and ask for you. And you didn't really know me. You knew of me, but we knew of each other, but we didn't
know which one you were.
and that's how we had to start a conversation and end up going on a date and getting to know each other. These days, you slide up in the DMs.
That's what I'm
saying. Or you send it. You get a number and send a text, and it's just different. Like, I had to talk to you on the phone and ask you.
It doesn't have to be different,
which is a step removed from what a lot of guys had to do back in our day, was ask in person, like up face to face, and risk that rejection, which now guys don't have to do that. And I feel like that's just one of the very, very many ways that guys aren't having to step up and do hard things that show a girl what he's made of. And I feel like that's a perspective that girls have, the younger generation now has, of guys, that they just don't measure up the way they should in certain areas that they should be able to measure up more in. And again, that's just one of many ways that can manifest itself, but it's there, and it's a perspective, and it's a reality. It's a valid point. So we got crazy or
lazy.
Oh,
I'm a poet.
How about that? Well, that's valid. I mean, it's
But
just too easy now with the technology to get on social media and you just swipe through girls, and it's like, bro, you didn't have to do anything to slide up in some girl's DMs and get her number and start messaging her, and there's no risk for...
But it goes both ways, because she's allowing it, because she doesn't know any better, and that's the problem. Like, it's twofold. And that's why the lazy on the guy's part and the crazy on the girl's part.
Dang. We could talk a lot more about this, probably.
I have so many thoughts.
So many. Well, share.
Doesn't mean that it's like all accurate or right. It's just a perspective of what I hear these younger kids saying, and you know, they're explaining that they want something different than what they see, but they don't know how to get there, because
all they've ever known is what they see. Yeah.
And parents are handing these phones to 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds. And so all they know is this is how you communicate with people. You text people.
Right.
Social media, that sort of thing, instead of like face-to-face conversations and like looking somebody in the eye and like getting to know who they really are versus who they are behind a device, you know. Those are two different people, I think.
That's true.
So if you don't know somebody face-to-face, you don't really know them. And so then they like meet and they like, you know, go on a date or whatever. What are they don't even know how to talk to each other, because all they do is text.
Oh yeah, we've heard that too. Like, they meet and they're like, they meet and they actually go out on a date, and they're like,
I will text you my questions. Let's be on social media together on this date. Like, really, you look around in a restaurant or wherever and you
it's
see,
a photo op. We went on a date.
I guess.
Take the picture, post on Instagram.
I don't know. I don't think you do that for a long time. We call that a hard launch.
Oh yeah.
We call
Oh yeah,
that a
that's
hard
right.
launch.
You don't do that at first.
You don't.
We totally would have done that. We'd have been like,
I don't know if we would.
imagine if social
No,
media
you
was,
didn't. I didn't even have your
Li-
phone number. Listen, I didn't even have your
but
phone
we don't
number
but we don't know.
for the first 3 weeks.
Imagine
of us
if
dating.
we had social media on our first date.
I don't know that I would have posted.
I don't know. We don't know what the pressure would have been like
I didn't have your phone
To
number for the
do
first
anything.
3 weeks.
to post or not post or.
I felt no pressure to call you. If you wanted to go out with me, you were going to call me.
Well, apparently, according to people we know, not going to call any names, I'm weird on social media. So apparently, I probably would have been like, "Yeah, we out here," and taking a picture on our
People
first
said
date.
You're weird on social
We would've-
media. That's so interesting. I
I'm
know
talking
who
about-
you're talking about, but we will leave that anonymous at this point.
So yeah, on our first date, if we had social media, I probably would have done that. I'm like, I don't care.
You probably would have.
Everybody's gonna find out anyway.
Well, I
Because
mean,
word spreads, like people talk. You can't gossip
we were in a
spreads.
small town, apparently.
And between us and our parents, everybody knows everybody. So
Oh,
it's not
wow.
like, I mean, there were probably more people knew about our first date before our first date than we would ever imagine.
We're really important.
Maybe not our first date,
We'll know about that.
but by the second date,
By
I'm
the
sure
time-
so many people
which was like
knew.
the next night.
Oh, Mark and Shauna, they're doing some.
We went out the next
Dating.
night.
Yeah, we did. We went out with our group.
Group.
Actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that many people spreading the word.
It was a
Everybody in Dalton knew. Anyway,
word. Ooh, you got the location.
How do we got
You got
sidetracked
the
on-
location now.
yeah. So I probably would have posted.
Might have.
I would have posted.
I would not have. I'm quite certain of it.
It probably would have been on my story, like every step of the date.
It was a great date. So it would have been
Yeah.
nice to have that now.
I don't know if I would have done that or not. Everything, it's all speculation. I'm glad we didn't have social media back then
I'm so glad.
because
We would have been influencers. I'm certain of it. Our dating would have been so.
yeah, we could have had a travel vlog.
Man.
We would have had a travel vlog. We'd have been one of those couples.
That's
Oh, we're
so
just
sad
jumping
to
on a
think
flight to
about.
Miami today. Oh, we're just jumping on a flight to Disney World. We're going to
the
Disneyland,
day.
Disney World, yeah, for the day.
We're going to
Follow along.
Watch us not eat. We're so in love.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
drink,
we were living on love,
or don't, no drinking water.
taking those long trips. I worked for Delta Airlines as a student in college, and so I had all the flight benefits, and we would literally take day trips. We would fly to these places and spend the
was
day and come back.
Super magical.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dating, different,
Very different.
very different now versus then.
Mhm.
And there's new challenges with it that there were challenges then
Mhm.
that they don't have now, but they have challenges now that we didn't have then.
Right.
And
Like one thing that technology is good for is long distance. Like people can have long distance relationships
Right.
because they can see
that
each
was
other.
hard for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can
Very
actually
hard.
face to face talk with FaceTime. So I think long distance relationships are a little bit easier.
A little bit easier, but is it any healthier to have that?
I don't know.
I
You
don't
still
know
only
that it
show what you
is.
want to show.
Yeah. I don't know that it is. There's still something about
Sitting in a truck.
sitting in a truck together and talking face to face.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go.
What do you mean I go?
You go.
What are we talking about?
25 years ago. That's how we started.
That's what
this.
we've been talking about.
No. You said something about. Think back 25
How did you
years.
know? And I said,
Oh yeah, you didn't say how. How did you know?
I just knew. Same thing. Like, I just knew you were awesome.
Aw. I didn't know you thought that.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I don't know that I knew that you thought that. Like, I don't know that I knew, like you just said it.
We were traveling all over the place and having a great time, enjoying all the fun
We were
things.
fun. We're still fun.
And
Just different.
like you said, we shared values, and there were so many ways that we were compatible. We didn't know the ways we weren't, which is really, it's still compatibility, even though it's opposite.
Yeah.
It's what makes you compatible. You're drawn to the things that are different about the other person. You're drawn to those things because you don't have those things. It's qualities like.
I'm ready. Oh.
The fun.
There's crazy cars here at the Anderson.
The fun. Yeah, there's probably background noise on our video already, but anyway, we don't care.
Okay.
We had this opportunity to talk in the truck, so we're doing truck talk.
Truck talk.
And making the best of it.
Okay.
So,
anyways, back
yeah.
to what you're saying.
What were we saying?
You were saying
we had the shared values
that attract each other.
There were a lot of things that we did have in common that were attractive to us, but there were things that we didn't really necessarily realize. I don't think that were opposite things that were also attracting things. Yeah. You know, people talk about compatibility. Oh, well, you have no idea. That's true. Some things are going to cause conflict, but that doesn't mean that those aren't elements of compatibility, because opposites attract, and yes, that can cause conflict. But when you think about it, the opposites attract is because you're drawn to those things that are different about you. Like for us, you're the more fun one, the one that's always up for a fun time, and I'm the more. I can be that way too.
I feel like you are more that way now.
Well, we rubbed off on each other.
Yeah.
I think I was the more serious.
You were a grown-up.
Adult. I was the adult. I adulted first.
Yes. There is no arguing that. Yes.
Yeah, I was ready to grow up. So ready to be grown up.
Yeah. I wanted to be a grown-up having a good time.
Right. And I think those things probably were attractive to both of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were stable. You had a path. You were driven.
And
you worked hard.
Maybe there was a sense of security in that. Like, oh, this is a guy that's going to actually work.
You had ambition, and so you weren't just like going to do nothing with your life, you know? And that attracted me. But it's not that I don't have a work ethic. It's just it's not like yours. It's just very different.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was.
And I think at that time, we were able to have so much fun together. You were always up for going and doing and having a good time, and that was great. I loved that. You were always up for, hey, let's go play tennis. At that time, we would play tennis, or just whatever. Hey, let's go to Disney World. Let's go skiing in Colorado. You know,
you've never been,
things that we got to do.
There's no bunny slope. You've never been skiing, and there's no bunny slope. Yes, let's do that. That'd be fun.
And so I think that was a big attractive quality to me, was your fun personality and spontaneous, willing to do things, where I was always like planning, thinking ahead, and so maybe boring.
Obviously not.
Or could be.
Well,
I mean,
you have moments of like tunnel vision.
Serious.
Sure.
Yeah, I get fixated on something.
Yeah.
And I think it was just good for me to have the balance of take a break.
Come on out of
and
the
you've
tunnel.
had to remind me of that many times in our marriage. Because
today, I reminded
I
you
can
that
get fixated
today.
Yeah. Because I can get fixated on something and go after it so intensely that I forget to take breaks and have a good time. I've gotten way better at that though.
I agree.
I rest way better now. All the things. So yeah, I think those are some things that 25 years ago.
It's good. It's kind of fun. Reminiscing.
We were just
Children.
growing up together.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel like it's just now gotten really, really good.
I feel like we might be saying that every year.
Your son's calling us.
Should we answer it?
Let's see what happens. Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
Oh, these
Those
grown up kids.
Big kids. There's some good things about big kids.
Yeah, what were you about to say before that?
I don't know. What was I about to say? Oh, something about I think we've just arrived. I mean, not just arrived. I think we've just gotten to the good part.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know that we'll ever arrive.
That's-
I think if you think you arrived, you have not.
I feel like we say that every year though.
I do. I just
It just keeps getting better. At least that's how we feel.
think it was just super hard and we didn't know how to handle the hard. And now that we've handled a lot of hard, it feels like we handle it better.
Yeah.
It's not so shocking to our systems.
Right.
So that, but also there's just a realness to what we have currently that we both had to work through to get there. And that's sweet. And you just be real. Say the hard things, knowing that the other person loves you.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they say the hard things to you and you have to remember they love you. But remembering that they do love you. Or they probably wouldn't say those hard things. Not mean things. Hard things. There's a big difference.
Was that targeted?
No, I was just clarifying. It was not targeted. It was just clarifying. I'm probably more
Probably
of the
both
one who
guilty.
says the mean
Yeah.
things. I've worked on it though. I'm trying to self-control.
So this year being 25, we want to take a trip of some sort. We're still
I'm
not
gonna
sure
need
what
you
we're going
planner
to do.
to get on this.
It's all my fault.
I mean, I've looked. I've talked about it. I need you to help join me in this journey.
Yeah.
We're thinking somewhere cold, like Alaska. Well, everyone that I've talked to about a cold place, like, should we maybe do Iceland or, somewhere else out of the country cold? And everyone says our Alaska trip was
Amazing.
yes,
Yeah.
everyone. So for me, I'm like, that would cross off one more state. I've been to all lower 48. I have not been to Alaska or Hawaii. So that'd be one more. But we could also go to Montana. I know it's cold there too. And see some of the national parks we haven't seen.
And I don't think I've ever been there.
Oh, it's really pretty. We should go there.
I don't recall ever going there. A lot of the states that I've been to,
You were working.
where's work or other things related. That might be true for you too, family, travel type related stuff early in life. But can't say that every state I've been to has been, oh wow, I really got to experience that place. Not true.
Yeah.
But I know there's some that I haven't been to.
Have you been to New Mexico?
Through it.
Mm.
I feel like I've been through it.
Santa Fe's really
Or
pretty.
at least in
Illinois.
part of it. Maybe it was part. I can't remember.
Anyways, there's so many places to see. So we do need some help and guidance on like
hard part's
where we
picking.
want to land, where we actually want to go.
Yeah. Maybe this is the time to do Alaska. Maybe. So that's something we're looking forward to this year.
Yep.
What else? We got some other things, some other topics we'll talk about for
Yeah.
sure.